Sharing. Okay. Right. And I will share my screen. Okay. For today, you have the control structures in Java, meaning that whenever you have a program, you can read the input from the keyboard. So this means that you will use scanner. In order to use scanner in every program, no matter the language, you need to have the needed library. So in this case, you need to import java.util.scanner, and you will be using it inside the void main. So to remember, the structure of every file starts with the package, then you have the import, and then you have the class. So it would be the acronym with PIC. So it is exactly like here, where you have the package. For example, you have here two packages, okay, with Java Labs, and you are inside the package PL. So here inside the SRC, you would have the package PL, and then you would import scanner. What you need to do here, as you can see, the name of this class is read example. So being read example, also the name of the file needs to be read example. If I put it to be read example 1, it will simply say the error that being public, you should also have the class named the same. Okay, and always inside the file, inside the Java file, you can have just one public class. If you want to put two classes in the same file, you neglect the public. So for example, if I have it, okay, let's put it with public twice to see that you have an error. Let's say that this is 1. They are different, but still it will tell you that read example 1 is public. So you need to have it declared inside a file which has to be named in this way. Or another option is not to make the class public. And this is also displayed for you. As you can see here, you have this option with make read example 1 not public. So in order to have two classes inside the same file, you would leave it without the public in front. Then returning to our example. So always the name of your public class is the same as the name of your file. Then you have the void main. The void main is always inside the public static void main. And then you've got the argument. So it is a string args in this way, or you can put the braces here. Okay, and it is also correct because in fact you receive a list of arguments which are of type string. Okay. Also, you will be using your scanner, and the scanner will be using, in fact, the system in. This is because you have the system input which will be involved. Then you would read line by line. So in fact, you will have a string, and for having the string, you will scan the next line. And remember that in Java, as well as in C, you have the tabs. So here the leftmost is for package, for import, and then you've got the class. Now being inside the class, you see that you have these spaces. So in fact, what was used here is that you can copy and paste this code. This is not an image. So you can have it in this way. When you have it in this way, okay, this is repeated twice. You should go here. So you can select everything. You can go to code, and then you have the reformat code. And as you can see, the program, the IDE, your development, your integrated development environment, will automatically align everything for you. And here, as you can see, being inside a class which is read example, you need to have this tab. So in fact, here you've got a tab, okay, and it needs to be inside the class. Now being inside the void main, you need two tabs, okay, so as you can see, you are inside it, okay, and you will be adding all the commands. Keep in mind that you should put the names which are suggestive. So here, when you have a variable, you start with lowercase, okay, like scan, s, and so on. When you have something with uppercase starting, like you would want to put it here, it would be an object of a certain class, and you will see it afterwards. But all the variables, you put it in lowercase, and then you can put it in camel case. So let's say that you have this scan, and let's say that this is a read example scan. So this is called your camel case. And whenever you use it in this way, it means that whenever it appears again and you use it again, it means that you should have the same name. So this is called your camel case. Okay, so it is like going up and down, okay, like a camel. Okay, and they are all linked. What you can also put is to add underscores, but this is another example. Okay. Then you will have the system.input. You read everything from the keyboard, okay, and you read line by line, okay, as well as it will get the string when you will press enter. So what you can do here, you can have this shortcut with SA out, okay, so you have a shortcut SA out for system.out.println. So you have a system out print line. This is for one line, and then the tab will go on the next line, or you can have it dot print, but it will print it one after another. So let's use this print line. So it means that here I will say, because you as a user, when you run the program, you should know what you have to do. If you don't have such a suggestive message, it will appear, let's say, in this way. So let's run the example. You will have something like this. And now if you look at this execution, not having a suggestive message to tell you what to do, you won't know what does it want. You want to press on enter and that's it. So you won't understand what's the whole meaning. And in this case, you should put a representative message saying that you should enter, for example, your name. Enter your first name, let's say. Okay. And now you will know that you should add here your first name. Okay, and then it will print it. As you can see here, what it will do, such that it reads what you did insert. Okay, let's say is this first name. So S, in fact, is the string which you did receive. And then what it will want to do is to insert again a new string. But not knowing what you have to do, you would press on enter and then you would say that something is not normal. So you should say here that you should enter your last name, for example. Okay. Or what you can have is to have it on the same line and to have it displayed. Let's see. So you have, as you can see, enter your first name. And now when you will want to enter it, because it is without the ln, if you insert the ln, as you've seen it before, this tab in order to insert the string was down. Now you have it on the same line because it's just the print. So let's say it's your name. And because you have this print ln, it means that on a new line, you have your string, which was read, and you have your last name, which appeared. And then you just have the end of your program. Okay, so this would be for the first part, when besides having the code, you know what you need to do. Okay, and keep in mind that always you have this PIC structure. Okay, PIC structure meaning that always you define package. After package, you have the import. After the import, I have the class. And this is always mandatory. And don't forget about all the tabs. So don't forget to align the code. Okay, align the whole code here. And suggestive names for your variables, and have your variables with lowercase. Okay. Right. Starting with lowercase. And why is it why like this? Because as you can see, whether you do have a library or the name of your class, you start it with uppercase. So when having in this way, you know that this scanner, as you can see it here, if I leave it just on scanner, you see that it belongs to this class, which is scanner inside Java util. And it also provides you some sample usages. So this is how you can have all these packages. As you can see, you already are provided how you can read an int. So having the input stream, you can have, in this case, with next line, you would receive a string. But you can also know that you will read an integer, or you can have a long, as well as you can have several inputs. Okay. Okay. And this is just for matching. These are regular expressions that you can use. Okay. But as you can see, you have all of them here, and it can be a great help for you at the test, at the homework, and to get some more knowledge about the subject. Okay. So this is what you have here. I will just paste it to remain in the chat with all the observations. Okay. Then you would have another example. This is for Hello World. Whenever you see a public class Hello World, what you need to do is to create a new file. So being inside PL, you will go to new Java class, and this will be called Hello World. Okay, in this Hello World, you would have this whole code. And this is how you can run it with several arguments. Okay. And you will have the terminal based on which you can run it. Okay, you are inside the terminal, so you will have Java, you have inside labs, Java labs, I need to be more inside src. Then I need to go inside main with cd, then I see that I have Java, so you need to go through all the structure. Then it would be inside my package PL, and now let's say it's dir. With dir, you list everything that you've got inside. So as you can see here, you have the hello world and the read example of Java. And dot is for the current directory, dot is for what you have before. So here if I have cd of dot, it will go above, so it will exit my folder PL, and with cd of PL, you're inside. Okay, what I want to do now is to use these arguments which I provide here. So it means that for the class that I have with Hello World, I want to execute it, so it will be compiled, and you will have the arguments, argument 1, 2, and 3. So you have Java, you have Hello World of argument 1, let's say argument 2, and argument 3. So what you can see here is that why did it appear in this case like this? What should you do firstly?
Javac.
Yeah, you need to compile the class. So in Java with Hello World, and now it will have the input. And now why doesn't it want to get it is that you've got the dot class. Okay. So why doesn't it take it again? So it was compiled, and then which is the meaning for it. Here it has no arguments. So you combine it with Java, and then you just have what?
We need to put commas between the arguments.
So you would have them as strings. They are strings, but it said that it couldn't load it. It would be 1. You're inside the PL. Like this. So it cannot find it. With there. So you have this one. But it has it around. So which would be the cause?
The dot class after hello world.
It already uses it, so it couldn't find or load it. It receives these attributes, so even inside the CMD, I will have a CD of the whole path. Okay, this is my lab. Okay. I have the Java labs. This is Java with there. You are inside CD. Okay. This is an include CD. All right. So you will have your Java with hello world. It's still inside it. Slash. And it's still this one. All these are just the parameters which you can add from here. And also have Java. Okay, which is the 1.8. And it was compiled with Java already. With there it was created. Okay. and it's just with the Java you have hello world and then just arg. But we cannot see the class. It's strange because it should see it, or if not, you would just provide it as an argument. Like here it would be a string args of, let's say 1, 2, 3. But this is already defined. Okay, to reuse it and to have it, this is between. You have strings, argument 1, argument 2. I don't want to get it. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't initialize it here because it's static, but let's have a new one. String arg of it. Okay, so it would go through all the elements which you've got inside the list. But like before, this is how we call it. It's, yeah, it couldn't find the class. Because it's with dot slash, you have it here. Okay, and you have the strings. Having the string. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is how you do it, and it should be working also on your computer as you did it during the first lab. No. It cannot see it here, but it appears inside it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Java class. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. It is the same. Strange that it cannot get it. See. And you have your compile in Java, and you have not class. All right, and you receive. I already have the echo. Java home is set of my, but it still cannot see it. And if I do the Java of the previous one, what will not here to see the path and explore Java PL.
Can I ask something?
Yes.
Can it be because we use string argument and we have chars? And if we change string with char, it will take.
Let's have the previous one with read example. As you can see, even with the read example, it doesn't want to do it. It's probably my Java version. Because here it's fine. Main, yeah, and it's okay.
I got it to work somehow in IntelliJ.
So,
No, it's just from my local one. Yeah, it's because of this Java home, which is not set for me. Okay. And it's just that. So this is why I cannot call it from my terminal. It is just my local problem. Okay. But if you set as you did with Java Home, then you have it running. Okay. Let's keep going. So you can all use the terminal, or you can have already the instructions that you receive here. By default, you would be reading from files, or you have your keyboard and you just process the whole structure. Okay. Then when you want to have the code, so it will run by default instruction by instruction, and you should have the logic behind it. So it would be like here, you have your scanner, then you get your first name, then you get your last name, and you will receive your output. So always have in mind that you need to have what is behind the whole thing. So it would be first name, last name, and then you have all the logic. And if not, you can have some control structures with the if statement. So it can be if a certain condition, whether it's true, you would have an instruction or multiple instructions, such that in this case. Okay. Also, you will have all the block which is executed. So you go through all the instructions that are provided. As well as when you have multiple instructions, you will have the curly braces, which you need to add one by one. Okay. Now you can have the case with if and else. So it means that you have an if condition, and then you will have a certain instruction one or a block of instructions. And if not, then you will have another set of instructions. So it will go on that branch. As well as don't forget that you need to say what needs to happen in this branch and to have the tabs. So you have if condition and then tab, as well as you've got the else, which is at the level of the if, and you should use the tab. Okay. Such that you can have it with if you've got a condition, okay, and then you've got the else, and you have another condition too, according to a set of instructions that you need to have. And if not, even having this condition, which was not all right, you can have another if, and if this condition too is not satisfied, it will go inside instruction 3. Okay. So what you can do is to get a number. Let's say that here. Okay. This is the component code for it. Let's have the logic inside. And let's align everything. You've got the number. Okay. Yeah, it says that it might not have been initialized, so it can be 0. Because in this case, you need to provide a value. So, or you scan your number. So as you can see, you can have scanner. Okay. Because you need to have the value for it. Enter a number. Okay, and I will have my S, which will be in fact my number. And you can see for it that you can have, okay, next. And it can be a line, a boolean, and double, also an int. So it could be a next int. Being a next int, you would also have to set the number equal to n. Or what you can do by default is to say that this number is the one that you read from the keyboard. Then this is because of the quotes. So whether you divide it by 2, it means that you have an even number. And if not, it means that it is an odd number. Okay. And you have the value. So let's see. Here you would have enter a number. 20, it's an even number because the modules will provide you 0, and whether it's a 21, it is an odd number. Okay, so always think about the cases, as well as you can put several commands like here. You can simply say that some messages we have entered the if branch, and this is for the else branch. And this is how you need to add curly braces if you have several instructions. Okay, we would run the main, and it will say both strings, I mean both messages. Also, you can have it in this way. So whether the test score is greater than 90, you have the ranges according to which you provide the grades. It would be a grade A. Whether it's greater than 80, it would be E. Greater than 70, it's C. Then it would be greater than 60 is D. And if not, it would be F. So this is again what you can receive. And it would be again by reading the number. So I will firstly provide this one. Tuck here. And you would have the value. It means that you have to read the test score, which is again an integer. Okay. Let's have it in this way. Enter a test score. And you have your test score, for which you read, as well as in this case you would have your share of grade. Okay, and it's empty. Let's say so. In this case, you have it with nothing, and when initializing it, you should put a space for it, or else it would be like it's null. Now, when you would like to display it, you can add a message that you have your test score, but okay, is equivalent of the grade, and you would say which would be this grade. As you can see, when you want to display, this one will be automatically transformed, and you will have it as a string type. Then you have the whole string, as well as the char will also be concatenated. So it will ask you which is the test score. Let's say it's 91, and it would be the equivalent of grade A. And so on. Let's say it's 59. 59 is less than 60, so it would enter the last case with else. Okay, so this would be the part for the grade. What else you can have is to write it according to a switch. So switch according to your expression, and then you have all the cases. So whether it's case with a constant 1, you would have an instruction or several instructions for it. Whether it's case 2, you have other instructions. And whether it's default, default means that if it didn't enter any of the above cases, it will go here in this block. Okay, and this is the case when you want to interpret the value of month. Okay, so let's have it here. You have a new Java class, month equivalent. Okay, and make static void main string args, and inside it I would have these. Okay. As well as you've got these cases. Так. Good. So now you start from the month, which is in fact an integer. The integer is transformed into its equivalent in string format, such that you have for January the value 1, 2 for February, and so on. And you will find the equivalent, which at the end, if you have another number which is not in the range 1 and 12, it will say that it is an invalid month. Let's run it. Okay. And you have your, this is because you have several methods inside it. We have this part. And for 8, it would be August, but if I put something like 18 and I run it again, you will have an invalid month. So this is how you can do it in order to analyze which would be the value for the number that you input. And don't forget that you have the switch, according to which you define several cases. So you have a case, then you have the value for which you search. You have these two dots, so the column, in fact. And after the column, you have the whole block. And after each case, you see that you have the break. Break meaning that you won't enter another case or the default case, okay? So you won't continue. You will simply exit it and display the month. If you wouldn't have the break, it will simply also go down. Okay, so let's say that it is this one. It has to be one, or else this one also has block. So as you can see, it will go more down, and because it doesn't have the break, it will say, okay, I have a case one. Case one will enter it, then it doesn't have a break, it will go forward, and it will simply have the month as being February. And this is totally wrong. So this is why you have to write the break and put it in the right place to be readable. Okay. And you will have exactly your month. So don't forget to add all the break statements, or else it will go onwards. Okay. So as you can see, if the break is not written, you will have the next case as it was here, which will be executed. And like in the case of the last one, it will enter the default, and this is totally wrong. And don't forget that whenever you have the switch case, you should say exactly which one it is. Now we have another switch, okay, for which you have it different. You have it written in a different manner. So it would be the season in this case. Right. And you display season. Okay, and this is because of the PowerPoint, which destroyed these quotes. Okay, and this one is the month string, which is in fact season. Okay, so let's see. Spring would be what? It would be March, April, and May. Then you have summer, which is June, July, August. Then for autumn, you have September, October, November. And for winter, you have December, January, and February. And if not, it means that your season is invalid. Okay, so you will have the month, and according to the month, you just say to which season it belongs. So winter And you can have it placed here, like the month with the number, say, plus month corresponds to what belongs to the season named. Okay, and if I run it again, you have that the month with the number 1 belongs to the season named winter. And this is how you can concatenate all your results. Okay. So for now we can have a break, and then I will continue with all the write and repetition structures.